crowding me. Hi, and welcome back to Schamberger Labs. I'm Rob Schamberger, one of the Schambergers in the Schamberger Labs. The other is Katy here, this
it's me.
attention hog.
It's my show. It's my labs.
We've gone a few weeks without one together. I thought it'd be good to check back in. You know, I don't want you guys to know what to expect with the show so that you keep watching or anything. I want to keep it as random as possible, I guess. Right.
Yeah.
So first up, as is tradition, what are you drinking tonight, Katy?
So I'm drinking.
This is nighttime, I promise. Not 10 a.m.
I mean,
10 a.m. somewhere.
It could be 10 a.m. somewhere. I mean, we don't judge here at Schamberger Labs. I should have been better prepared. This is the same amazing white Bordeaux that you bought me a few weeks ago that I have christened my own personal house wine.
So go back and watch episode 2.
Episode 2.
For the name of the wine.
Well, actually never, because I wasn't prepared
you didn't
there
say
either.
It. Oh.
No.
We're on top of stuff here.
We are. Maybe at some point in this show I could run out and grab the bottle and actually speak
get it
about it.
Because you do like this wine.
It's delicious.
And I am having this new microbrew, like a small brewery makes this beer called, if I can get it in there, Miller Lite. It's pretty good. These people have a future to it,
It's going to be a hit, right? A staple? Cheers.
So, still working away at this Charlotte Flair painting. That is what it is, a painting. And real quick, congratulations to our friend, Ashley Flair, aka Charlotte Flair.
Yes.
Who just tied the knot to, I think he still goes by Andrade Almas. I don't know.
He does.
Okay, great. I don't watch the other show. I'm sorry. There's only so many hours in the day. But very happy for both of them.
Yes.
Both have been just amazing to us over the years. So very happy for them. And on this painting, still working on the background, but starting to fill it in even more. Doing the crowd and the stands over on the right of the painting. And as this goes, you'll see there's more detail coming in. Because it's still in the background. You don't want to do too much detail because that'll... One, our eyes just don't work that way.
Right.
Like there's spatial... I forget the term. But there's...
Depth?
With depth, you can only see detail so far, right?
Sure.
So I don't.
Spatial range, maybe.
Yeah. And also it'll help, when I finally get to actually painting her, which I promise will happen eventually. It'll make her really stand out. So at the same time, it will be, I think, kind of exciting once you start seeing the crowd start coming in. It'll more and more start feeling like you're seeing a scene from a WrestleMania. But
I mean, I'm loving it's cool to just kind of catch back up with the fireworks, though. Like how they started and they're so dazzling.
Yeah, I think, again, as I do the WrestleMania set and everything on there, that'll be more evident what's happening there. The fireworks will make more sense within the greater context of everything. It just takes time, folks. And
which is so great because, again, we've hit on it, I think, every chat we've had, but you don't normally give yourself this much time, so this is just different in so many ways. So I wonder, now that you're a few weeks in and you're really getting the groove of balancing this, kind of even more statement painting with your kind of typical weekly workload. Are you finding this is even something that you're more looking forward to? When you kind of turn your attention to it, is there, excitement that you do get to kind of slow down a little bit and really just get lost in this for a while.
Exactly. It's totally different muscles I'm using on this. Also, like, because I'm just hyper focusing on this one little section. I'm not also, like, I'm kind of setting my own timeline on this painting.
Right.
It's not that I have to get it done within a week for my weekly paintings that I do for WWE. Plus, like, other projects will come up. Like, there's one that I can't talk about quite yet, but I had like 2 paintings that I had to get done right around the same time I did this one here, with a really tight deadline on those. Plus, still trying to keep all the WWE stuff going and working ahead for WWE stuff because, you know, going back on the road here and there, I have been for the past year, but haven't
more consistently now.
Yeah, and I haven't done a show since WrestleMania. It just hasn't worked out, and now I've got at the time we're talking about this, I'm going to be going to Des Moines for Monday Night Raw, and then the following weekend to Chicago for Hell in a Cell. But because of that, because of all the travel, the days before, the days after, the days being there, I have to plan ahead with my painting so that I stay on top of my deadlines. While still trying to crack away at this one too, and doing these videos and everything with that. But speaking of Chicago, and actually while I was working on this painting, you were in Chicago.
I was.
While I was doing this. Your amazing day job, which we haven't covered on here yet. Tell us a bit about what you do, which is pretty awesome.
Thanks, babe. Well, yes, I am double fisting today. Got my wine and also my water because there has been a lot. It's been a lot faster paced. We all got to stay hydrated.
Stay hydrated.
Right? Take care of yourself. Self-care is not selfish.
Hydrating with beer.
Hydrate with water. Yes, so I work for a loyalty, engagement, and experiences firm.
In layman's terms.
We put on cool events for rad people.
There you go.
Yeah. And also work with companies to keep their employees connected with each other and excited and working toward different goals and things like that. So really just helping people connect in various ways is what I would say, through either an in-person event or a conference or a trip or virtual events using a site that everybody logs into on their computer. Lots of different ways to go about it.
You guys really leaned into that at the height of the pandemic, right? Because it's an events company and you can't do events.
Right.
And you guys really innovated.
Yeah, they did a tremendous job of shifting all of that in person to virtual, discovering all these different platforms that had different capabilities because they didn't necessarily want these events to just feel like, oh, I'm tuning in, I'm watching this. This feels like another Zoom meeting or another Teams meeting, to really still maintain like the two-way conversation and engagement and excitement. Because a lot of times, when you have these annual events, this is one time a year where people are getting together. So even though that might be happening virtually sometimes now instead of in person, you want to have as much of that same kind of enriching experience, even though everybody's, separated by their screens.
Right.
So.
And what's your role within this company? So
I am a senior content creator. So I just work on our marketing and digital services team, all things content. So basically anytime anyone needs anything written, I jump into action.
You're the one that writes it.
I'm the one that writes it. Probably a heavy emphasis on digital content, websites, some blogs, and then
social.
Lots more social media management for sure is an area that I'm leaning into. So I'm finding myself on the road more, as you are on the road more, because there is a really exciting aspect to these in-person events where you can provide that on-the-ground live social media management and engagement. It kind of brings another dimension to the event. You can really like check in, what are the attendees thinking and feeling and experiencing, and I love it. I love the fast pace. I get to typically be pretty creative. So yeah, Chicago, headed to Phoenix.
We got to go to Kauai together because of your job too. It was a conference.
Yeah.
It was a heck of a deal. So like Katie's flight and the hotel room for a week were paid for, so we just had to do my flight. I got to vacation. You got a bit in. It was just tremendous, and like having been with you for going on 16 years, with this position that you have in this company that you're at, it is so cool for me to see very high-profile people and companies recognizing how great you are. Like what I have been seeing, people in very good like places of authority are able to see that, and you're reaping the benefits of it. And something that I kind of came up with calling you and what you do is that you're a content chameleon. You're able to match the voice and the tenor of whoever is hiring you. And with a company like this that works with a lot of different organizations and major brands, like the Chicago trip you were just on, we can't say who it was, but if you've ever driven on a highway, you have seen...
Spoiler.
You have seen the company that Katy did this for, like real big, like one of the like top American companies. And they were like, I can say this, really blown away by the quality of work you were doing, and it's opening up even more possibilities and potential for you, and it's awesome to see that happening.
Thanks.
It's great being in the front row seat watching your success.
Thanks, babe. And I would say I feel the same way about you, and I keep telling people this, but it's just, it blows my mind that, because we are an events company, and so especially when I'm on site and you're in like the setup phase or the tear down phase, or things are really frantic and like you're getting ready for those doors to open, it's not anything different than Access or the different comic book conventions that we've worked at over the years. And it just boggles my mind still that I found this like intersection of events and what I am most passionate about, which is writing, plus also travel, which I love. And it just...
An in-person... service, whether it's customer or client service. Like if you've ever come to Access or one of our convention appearances, there's a lot of reasons I bring Katy with me. One of them is you are so good at talking to people.
Thank you.
And making them feel validated and wanted, and skills that I don't have. And I recognize that.
Don't sell yourself short. But
I recognize that you're so good at it, and there were recent things where your company or other organizations have wanted you to be like the in-person face of the thing.
I've been a greeter recently, and you just...
Tour guide?
It's a tour. Oh yes, I did get to do a little tour guide. That was a bucket list. Hello.
We're walking.
We're walking. Notice history. Yes, we are walking toward a daiquiri shop. Shout out to Visit KC and the Women in Travel Summit for that incredible opportunity.
Katy totally took them for a side trip to get daiquiris.
We did, and I
people
think
from around the world.
People actually from around the world came to Kansas City for this conference, which was amazing because I feel like it just speaks to the growing appeal. I think most everybody watching this show knows, but I am maybe Kansas City's #1 cheerleader.
Yeah, you wrote the book on it.
I did actually write Moon, Kansas City, published back in 2010. You can still get copies. It's pretty out of date at this point.
It'd be kind of depressing to go through, like, and just black out every company that's not there anymore.
A lot of closures.
The world changes. The world changes.
A lot of openings.
Yep.
Still really cool people doing really cool things. And, you know, my motto in any work I do, whether it's with you or with my day job, as we call it, is just all focused on the experience, and everybody has a story.
Mm-hmm.
So anything I can do to either unlock and tell that story, or even just make somebody feel a little more comfortable and welcome in their kind of current experience, that is really important to me. And yeah, it's paying off. I'm really I've heard some good things about what might be ahead, and I'm very excited.
And you have earned all of it, right? Like, I'm not big on saying anyone deserves something, because that's so subjective.
Sure.
But earning a thing, like, there is, like, tangible evidence. You put in the work, you have the right mindset, you have the right work ethic to make these things happen. And through your entire career, there have been setbacks here and there, but you've really had, like, good forward momentum throughout it all. Mm-hmm. And it's just massively paying off right now.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, I'll keep bringing it back to you, because having your example and what you've built with your career is very inspiring. So
keep up.
I mean,
we do not do that, by the way.
I cannot keep up with him.
Well, and I say the same thing. I say the same thing. It's not a competition.
But it's like, yeah, I love it. It's all back to, like, our partnership. We have our different strengths, and we bring them together.
Yeah.
And we've been, we say that, as individuals, if we hadn't met and gotten married, I have no doubt we would each still be successful in our own ways, but coming together has just made, I think, a lot of things happen that wouldn't have otherwise.
And I would I think you're selling yourself short there, because I feel like a lot of my career trajectory you were, like, pivotal in. Like, my first gallery show was because someone you knew had an artist drop out at the last second, and you're like, my boyfriend, we weren't even married at the time, you're like, my boyfriend has all these paintings sitting around, and I'm like, people don't want to see my paintings, I'm a comic book artist. And spoiler alert, the gallery show went really well.
They did want to see your paintings, actually.
Yep. I think I sold a couple, and booked 2 more gallery shows from that event. Pretty wild. Yeah. Like, and that kind of thing doesn't really happen. But you were, because you're so connected, especially here locally, and you just, because of your longtime relationship writing for the Kansas City Star and other local magazines, you've interviewed and maintained relationships with almost everyone. Like, it's amazing that we're able to go anywhere without you being stopped. Because we most commonly are. They remember the hair.
It's the hair. Even surprisingly, without the color, I think the cut is.
Well, the cut's awesome.
Cut might be more popular than the color. Maintained by Rob Schamberger. I feel like
I buzzed the sides, guys.
Can we get you, like, a hairstylist, like, alter ego name? Like, so then, when people are like, oh, I really like your hair, it can be like, oh.
The other half of my name, Bert.
Hair by Bert.
Hair Bert.
Hair by Bert. And Suze. Suze, in case you're watching. She is the genius who cuts my hair every 8 weeks, but Bert.
Bert does the trimming.
And I'll say this, and then I think we should get back to the art, but I know I've told you this. If you would have told me in the early days of our relationship that we would get to a point where you are regularly buzzing half of my head, I could.
I used to joke about it when I would do mine. I'm like, okay, I'll do yours, and you're like, words I can't say on this video.
Yes. Let's keep it. It's a family show, okay? Let's keep it positive.
Get blanked. Go blank yourself.
And yeah, now it's amazing.
Now you asked me to.
So yeah. So thanks.
We're building trust all over the place.
World's finest.
Yeah, world's finest. Origin of world's finest, by the way, if you don't know, we don't say the origin too often publicly, but at our wedding for my vows, I wrote my own. You did too. We called ourselves Timo Supremo.
Timo Supremo.
When we were just dating, and I felt like, and I even said, I think I even referenced teams break up, even tag teams like the Rockers. And
it all comes back to wrestling, people.
We didn't want to kick each other through the barbershop window. So I wanted to find a group name that is even bigger than a team, which is World's Finest, which is the name, if you're not a complete comic book nerd like me, when Batman and Superman team up. They're both amazing on their own, but they're completely unbeatable when they're together. And that's us. And it's proven true, hasn't it?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think it gets more true every day, every year.
Yeah.
Approaching our 16th year together.
Yeah.
So let me ask, Rob, thinking of our dear friend here, we're watching the progress on this painting. Again, huge congratulations to Ashley and Andrade, because I know the first thing that they want to do now that they're married is watch this episode of Schamberger Labs.
Absolutely. They have nothing else to do with their time.
No. So I am curious if you could give them one piece of advice for a successful married life based on your own experience. What would it be?
Talk it through.
Talk it through.
Yeah. There have been times when we have not had the strongest communication between us, and that causes ultimately more difficulty and problems than when we take a breath and talk it through together. Like, those conversations are rarely fun or enjoyable, but the long-term payoff of it, and so much of that is built around my therapist put it to me is that there's 3 pillars to a successful relationship, which are trust, safety, and communication.
Makes sense.
And they're all interdependent upon each other, and communication is kind of the thing that binds them. Especially when you come from a place of respect and trust. Being able to talk those things out has gotten us through a lot, for sure.
And I would jump in on that and also say, as much as you can, be flexible and be open to awareness, because I've always thought we had strong communication skills and have realized just within the last handful of years that we still had quite a few areas of opportunity. And so it was definitely kind of humbling myself a little bit, what can I do better? What would help me to get from you? And I think you were asking those same things about me. And just in case everybody has their Schamberger Labs bingo cards ready.
Here it comes.
Therapy. People, couples therapy. This is, caveat, this is not specifically directed to Charlotte and Andrade.
It's us.
It's us. We are back in round 2 of couples therapy, and just to say,
it's going wonderful.
It's wonderful. It's amazing. It does not have to be a last resort.
No.
You can feel like you're in the strongest, healthiest relationship in the world, and I feel like you're still going to benefit from couples therapy. And it was my therapist who said that she wishes more people in general would be a little more proactive with therapy and not necessarily wait for a disastrous event or realization. I know I was triggered by my first official panic attack. You know, you don't necessarily have to have that big event. You can be feeling pretty okay with the world, yeah, and still go to therapy and still get a lot out of it. So,
although, you know, we're not going to get into any of this, but like current events here in the United States, therapy helps out a lot. Even couples therapy, like our last session, we got into a lot of current event stuff. Mm-hmm. It's helpful just for like the processing of mm-hmm. things and of the emotions we're feeling, and self-awareness, awareness of our partner, mm-hmm. All of those things. Mm-hmm. Been hugely helpful. Self-awareness is the big thing, right? Like, is what therapy and mental health is kind of all about, is being fully aware of yourself and truthful about like what you're experiencing, how you're reacting.
But then the gem that I came up with, and I did create this saying, I would like a large check in the mail from whoever can make that happen. But awareness is key, but it does not equal action.
Right.
You have to use that awareness and build upon it and adjust how you're interacting with the world or with your partner or your family or whatever kind of sphere you're looking at. You know, examine the lens through which you see things. So awareness is critical, but I would say it's just that first step.
Right. That's like we talk about a lot, like the baby boomer generation. The style of therapy that existed for them was just about like getting to like, okay, here's the root cause of your problem, normally linked to childhood, and then it stopped there. Mm-hmm. And it's actually like digging all the way into that is where you can then start.
Right.
It's like digging the foundation that you then build upon.
Right.
It's definitely been true for me, and I've seen with you as well.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I've been in therapy for 3 years now, and I feel like it's just within the last 6-8 months, maybe a year, that I'm starting to put things together. So you definitely have that point, or many times, like, is this working? Am I doing what I need to be doing? But then, you know, it does come to fruition, and I kind of feel like, you know, not to go totally crazy here, but me and this painting, you're kind of in this middle stage now. Mm-hmm. Like you said, you've got everything mapped out, and it's slowly becoming more visible. But I wonder, is there a point in your work when you think, is this going to come together the way that it is in my head?
Until the last brush stroke, okay, or the last line. Okay. It is sheer terror until I get there. And it'll be that way with this one too. Like, even as deliberate as I am being with it, I still have this utter dread that I'm going to put in 3 months of work and blow it. I don't think I will blow it. Recently, and it's something like over the past couple of years we've done, but like mental health wise, like finding something tactile, something physical to do, especially when you're feeling really down or really overwhelmed by the world around you, can like help reset. Mm-hmm. And last week we planted our vegetables and our flowers, and that alone, like speaking to like couples health, that whole day was just amazing. Like just being out there and working on the stuff, having our drink at the end of the day together, going and getting some food afterwards. But like, I love tending the garden. I never do this.
Tending the garden.
Like, I mean, we did none of this stuff growing up, and my entire adult life until we moved into this house, I lived in apartments and buildings. So like all of that yard stuff, I had a bit of dread when we moved in. Like, like, am I gonna be able to do this? Like, we don't have a big yard or anything. It takes like 15 minutes to mow. Yes, that's a brag.
But we're concerned about schedules,
right?
And
Because
bandwidth,
we're both very busy people.
Yeah.
But I freaking love doing it, and it's actually like tough in the winter, like finding a thing. So like last winter, I started brewing my own beer, which I'm gonna get back into now that schedule is allowing a little more. But like going out every day, watering, pruning, pulling weeds, like checking like the progress. Like one of our tomato plants has flowered, which hopefully means that it'll start fruiting soon. One of our peppers already has a bud on it that'll hopefully turn into a pepper. We're gonna, I think tomorrow, we'll plant a bunch of jalapenos because last year we discovered the wonder that is candied jalapenos.
Candied
Y'all.
jalapenos.
Y'all. That's what it's about.
You can easily do it at home. You do need a very large quantity of jalapenos. So what we did last year is took what we had from the garden and supplemented it with store-bought jalapenos. So this year I'm hoping if we plant a whole bunch, I might be able to do one batch that's solely from our garden, but just a big pot, and you make a sugary, vinegary syrup and just
the house smells amazing when you do
those
it.
babies up, and oh my gosh, nachos, mac and cheese, chili.
I think I put it in some of my scrambles.
Your scrambles?
Yeah.
Would you would sometimes just kind of snack on them.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, just put that fork in there.
They're not super spicy.
No. There's a little bit of heat, but the sweetness definitely offsets it.
The syrup like mellows it out a little bit. Then you just, jar them and then put them in the fridge and have them on hand. So, I'm excited. I used to not be totally in love with summer, but gardening, and now that we grow food that we can eat,
and the grilling that we do with it too, like all the tomatoes we do, we've got 8 tomato plants this year. I'm super excited. We've got a wide variety, but like last year you were never big on like bigger tomatoes, and my mom gave me a couple starts, and we grew them, and like all of a sudden it's like, oh, like this is the difference.
The
with
taste difference.
Like you always hear about the difference with farm eggs and store-bought eggs, right? And it's like there is a legitimate difference. Same thing with tomatoes, especially because the ones that you get at the store, they pick early and then gas them to turn them red, but they aren't vine ripened. You hear that phrase a lot, and don't get all the flavor. So like you leave them on the vine until what's called the first blush, when they get that first tint of red on them. Then you pick them, and that's like a week longer than what they're on for stores, for reason with the stores. Like if they picked them when we do, they'd be rotten by the time they get to the store.
Yeah.
But we're able to grow them longer, and man, the flavor difference, and like the you'll do things like roasting them and turning them into sauces for like pasta or pizza. Oh, I'm so excited for what's coming.
I was gonna say maybe one of these episodes, like I need to make a meal and we can eat while we chat, because we have
that'd be awesome, actually.
The tomato tarts.
Yes, the tarts.
Which is just,
tell them what it is.
Puff pastry, thawed puff pastry, rolled out a little extra. A couple larger sized tomatoes if you have them. You could do them with cherry tomatoes. You just need quite a bit more. And you slice them and basically mix them with olive oil, salt and pepper, maybe a little basil if you're feeling frisky. And then just layer them on that puff pastry, topped with the big shaved Parmesan. Like the actual shaved squares are my favorite. Pop it in the oven, gosh, maybe 10 or 15 minutes. You're really just cooking the puff pastry and wanting it to turn golden. And it's just...
It's life affirming.
It's incredible. And it's a great kind of light meal in the summer, you know, in those hot days where you don't want, you know, just a giant plate of food. So usually I just make one and we split it, and it's a fantastic dinner. Maybe a little dressed arugula or something on the side, but yeah, it's a whole new dimension for me as someone who really loves to cook, to be able to go out in the backyard and either pick some veggies and some tomatoes or snip off some fresh herbs. We have close to 10, I think, types of herbs that are also growing right now, that I'll use in cooking, and also am exploring more in like cocktail ingredients and syrups and things like that. But
so definitely next time we'll do a meal with you guys. Maybe that'd be fun. Put the recipe up in like the description.
Cook along with the Schambergers.
We'll do this. Katie, thanks for hanging out.
Rob, thank
Always
you.
a pleasure when I get to see you, which is all the time.
But you know, like this next week, we're
going to be running around. I'll be in Chicago. You'll be in, where are you?
Phoenix. And so it's nice to share these moments together.
Where can people find you online?
Oh my gosh, I would love for y'all to come hang out with me at Katy Writes, KatyWrites. Twitter and Instagram are my preferred channels, but you can find me on Facebook and LinkedIn. So would love to chat.
And to see my art, go to schambergerlabs.com. Subscribe to my newsletter, robschamberger.substack.com. Paid tier gets to see these videos a week early. And at Rob Schamberger on Twitter and Instagram. I am not on Facebook. And as we're supposed to say at the end of these YouTube videos, please like and subscribe. Our friend Jake Black said, smash that like and subscribe. Smash it like Roman Reigns.
Yes.
Acknowledge the like and subscribe.
Those buttons. Because you the ones.
Thank you guys. We love you a lot. We'll see you next week. Awesome.
He did say smash.